Brahms, The Boy 2 is directed by William Brent Bell and stars Katie Holmes, Ralph Ineson, and among others. And this is the sequel to the 2016 film The Boy, which was also directed by the same guy, William Bell, and written by the same writer, Stacy Manier. And in this story, it deals with a young boy who, after moving to a mansion with his parents, after some stuff happens to where they get into a traumatic incident due to a burglary, him and his mom and his dad end up going to this mansion where they find a doll that basically the boy gets attached to, and to try to attach himself after going through the traumatized event. And that's basically the whole plot right there. And it becomes, as you see in the trailer, it becomes your typical. Basically, if you see a paranormal doll typical film that you see in countless fucking movies. Now, here's a
And
little story.
do a little recap. So going back to a little backstory, in 2016, I decided to I did a written review. I think at the time when we were doing written review, we call it the Boy, which was a film that was made in 2016 that starred a girl from Walking Dead in it. Maggie, who plays Maggie, I forgot the actress's name.
Lauren Cohen.
But yeah, I remember when that first came out. I wasn't really hyped to go see it. I figured it would end up being a doll possessing movie, so I was like, yeah, this could be another one on the shit list. I ended up catching it on video, and I will say that, I mean, the movie wasn't great overall. It was kind of boring, but I will say that third act, I know we're probably going to be very divided on this because there's people who are probably going to attack us for this. I thought what saved the movie was the ending. Yeah, I thought, okay, typical ghost doll movie's going to fucking get possessed. And then out comes this dude crawling out of a wall. I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, the dude was controlling the doll the whole entire time. I was like, that's fucking clever. That is something we'd never fucking see. Good twist right there. The whole people under the stairs feel. I was like, I like that. That was a good twist. And after some time later on, as the movie was out for a while, found out there was a lot of people that thought the twist ending was terrible, horrible. And I don't get it. It's like they don't want change, you
Well, I
know?
think
Yeah.
I think part of the problem too is that and I agree. I actually ended up liking the movie as well after upon seeing it, and I think really part of the problem was the fact that the movie in about the first two thirds was kind of doing more of this whole like psychological type of approach where you're kind of wondering in your head like what exactly the doll is, and it basically becomes a completely different genre in the third act that divided a lot of people. And I think the reason why is because it basically became a slasher film in the third act.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. I do agree and see the whole genre, like twist genre, where people were kind of confused. But same time, didn't we need something fresh with a doll in it? That the doll
Yeah,
was never, it was controlled by a real person who was evil and nuts and not all there. I like that idea that the doll wasn't possessed. Unfortunately, here we get to the sequel that, for one, the movie wasn't all that great to begin with. Why did it need a sequel? Who
because it
knows?
made money.
But come to find out, the reason why they did this was the uproar about the third act pushed them to, while it is a sequel, kind of refix what people want. And of course, people don't want nothing special. They want regurgitated fucking shit. And here you get Brahms, The Boy 2.
Or in
After
this
seeing
case,
one,
the
I will say, upon seeing this movie, people, your wishes just made a shittier movie than they could possibly do. They fucking scraped the bottom fucking shit floor with this. This made The Boy look like Save It Private Ryan the entire movie. I'm sorry for use that wish this. And it's funny because the people who did wish for a more possession and change to it and go back to its old roots of Evil Doll actually turned out to say, oh, fuck, we made a mistake. Yeah, thank you. You got this piece of shit.
Yeah. And it's also what I consider pretty much after upon seeing it, it's what I consider in there's a word that they use to describe certain movies like this when it comes to sequels, retconning. There are films that can do retconning right. Look, for example, the Evil Dead series. They've done that plenty of times, but they technically have the right reason because of rights issues and stuff. But I'm just saying, on a story standpoint, you get why they have to do the retconning. There are movies that do retcons where they basically change the stuff of the first film in the wrong way, such as Highlander 2, The Quickening, which is exactly what this movie feels like. If you've seen Highlander and watched Highlander 2 like that movie, they're like polar fucking opposites. It's exactly like this movie is.
Yeah, and you're right. The Evil Dead only works because I don't know. I don't know what they seem to do with the Evil Deads, but they're almost retconning each other, and they all show something different yet the same. They
But they can
balance
still
it out.
continue the story in a cohesive way, so to speak.
A movie like this, The Boy, should never been a retcon or brought back or anything. Hell, I thought the ending was just fine, and that should have been it. The movie, after liking the ending of the first one, was not all that special, anyways. To even, acquire to say, okay, let's start making more movies of this franchise. Let's make a franchise out of that, which I have a feeling they're going to do because with the ending of this, and you know how these type of movies always do, they'll start spawning fucking 8, 9 sequels, and they don't. It's going to turn out like that. I already know it. Getting my only pro in the film, I will say the only thing I liked about the film was the whole mentioning the events from the first movie, bringing up the old events of what happened, acknowledging they exist. I will say that was good, even though they basically, in the second half, contradict themselves and say, fuck you to that. I don't get that. But anyways, pretty much the only thing I will say that I would say I officially liked was when the boy wore the mask and doing that thing like the Brahms guy did. I like that little treatment of the first one, like trying to like fuck with us type of thing. Where the boy looked cool when he did that when he was wearing the mask. I will say I like that. Other than that, this fucking movie was just a waste of fucking time. And
It was. I hear you. Like, my point's exactly with how you agree. I like the look that they give because it seemed like the movie was kind of going in a direction that seemed like who the main boy actually seemed like he's going in that kind of level. And we'll get to this later because there is something that I want to fucking bitch about because they start to rip off another film that I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. And
yeah,
but one of the other things I will say is that even though he was wasted entirely in this film, I do have a lot of respect for the guy Ralph Ineson. He was the guy from The Witch. He seems to be kind of like in this type of typecast and these type of stereotypical horror movies and stuff. And it seems like he was playing a similar character in this one, like he did in The Witch, only a lot more like not really much to work with in this movie. So, but I thought he was the only one out of the cast that actually did fine. So it was
it's
really
funny.
just one of those.
You have that guy, and then you have the father who pretty much randomly just come out of nowhere when they hear like the mom's commotions. What was that noise? Like the father? Did you notice that the father was pointless in this entire movie? He only
Yeah.
came freaked out. What was that noise? Like that's his character the whole fucking movie. Huh? He's off screen and you can see him walk on screen. What was that? Oh man, don't do that, son, and walks off. It's like, what's the fucking point in this dude? Why is he
Well,
even in the movie?
right, but what I liked about the other guy was that I felt like they could have made a stronger direction with his character because it seemed like the way that he's kind of like, well, not to jump the gun, but the way he's kind of like basically he's a follower to the boy and stuff seemed like you could do an interesting idea with his character that they were kind of going that I think in a better film probably would have worked better.
I
But
can see what they're trying to do, but since no one cared about this movie being made, they had to shoot this movie at only an hour and 24 minutes, I think it was.
yeah,
They didn't really have much to work with, so I felt like they were going that direction with him, but it wasn't brought up until the last minute and said, fuck, we just ran out of here, just fucking,
yeah,
just end it real
pretty much.
you can
But
see
yeah,
that as a story. But yeah, now we get into our cons. God, where the fuck I start with this piece of shit? Um, I will say, let me start with the pacing. This movie was boring. I fucking played on my phone the entire time. I could pay attention to most movies like this. I mean, you got to think this is on a stupid level, so you could be on the phone and pay attention at the same time. It's not like it was an Inception or anything. I mean,
Yeah.
you really didn't have to pay attention to this. This is a dumb, fucking stupid movie. The plot is fucking generic. It's just boring. The first 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and it keeps being brought up and then it disappears finally, is the dream sequences of the burglary. I understand it was a traumatic experience. You moved away. Why the fuck are we seeing every jump scare that Brahms is doing to her, and it has to be involve these burglars? What the fuck does that got to do with the movie?
And yeah, I had that issue watching through. I'm like, oh, you're giving yeah, you're giving fucking Freddy Krueger a run for his money on how many dream sequences you want to put in your film. Or to quote the late Gene Siskel, the dream sequences. If you remember if you remember the Siskel and Ebert's review of Jaws: The Revenge, how they mentioned dream sequences, if they watched this film, they probably would have been more pissed off.
Yeah, there's too many fucking dream sequences. And it's not that. It's the shit that Brahms makes her see. She fucking goes out of it midway through the like a daytime scene, and she starts seeing these fucking burglars. What the fuck does Brahms knows about that? What the fuck is going on? Why am I? They should have called this Boy 2, the Burglars Edition, because that's all I fucking see half of the movie is them after her. I mean, I'm not even seeing monsters, for crying out loud. It's fucking dudes in black masks doing this to her every fucking scene.
Well, not
That's
just that.
another.
Even when they do try to do that whole shit, it's stuff you see in the trailer already fucking coming. With like the part where she goes to the doll and then she's basically seeing the weird locust or whatever stuff comes out of its mouth and it's like spreading on her. I'm like, oh, you just fucking ripped off Amityville Horror.
Yeah, that's another fucking rip off with the whole son goes supposedly hints that he goes nuts by killing his whole family. They exchange from the father doing that with Amityville to that, so they try to steal that. But yeah, going back to what I want to complain about the CGI with the locusts and the little centipede coming out of the Brahms ear is fucking retarded. Brahms, it doesn't make no sense shit coming out of him and scaring her like that when we don't see Brahms do a fucking thing but twist his head around and walk around, hear him walk around, but you can say it was the boy or him. Don't know. It's probably him, but you don't really get the true what the boy, the Brahms does until the fucking end, and it just it makes absolutely no fucking sense with these
Yeah,
like
because
of locusts coming out. It makes no fucking sense. It's trying to be edgy. It doesn't work. It's fucking poorly done. Let me get into another con I have. The actress, can't think of her fucking name. She
Katie
played
Holmes.
Katie Holmes. Haven't seen her in a long time. God damn, was she bad at this? Her fucking acting looked like she was like something out of a B-rated movie. Like, I was actually surprised on how poor her acting was in this movie, and a lot of people's acting. There was really the boy did okay. Felt like the other people really didn't. They felt like something I would see out of a straight-to-video bin. It was. I expected more out of from. I expected more from Katie Holmes, the girl who was married to Tom Cruise. Come on now.
Yeah, because she's
So that
done.
I bitch about. Any other cons? Yes. Nothing was scary. It was boring. It was short, and I couldn't wait for it to be over with. The writing did not work at any point in time. The fucking twist ending was some of the most weakest piece of shit. I will say that it wasn't as bad as the turning, but I will say that that ain't saying much. It's like saying diarrhea or shit. You make a choice. What do you have? So really, it's might be a one up because you got solids instead of diarrhea, but you're still shit. So the ending was very anticlimactic. That was a fucking retarded ass ending.
Yeah, I agree. And before I get to that part with my cons with that, I will going back a bit. Yeah, I felt like Katie Holmes was like very. It was almost like she forgot to act all of a sudden because the way her reactions, the way that the stuff happens, it's almost like she's taking it in not in a very serious way at points. And the way that she's responded, she's very monotone at points too. And I'm like, what? And then on top of that, one of the things I also noticed too was that this film basically rips off what Child's Play tried to do from its psychological feel in the first original film, where you're kind of convinced that the boy is kind of or the boy, or where they kind of flip it to where you think the doll is doing all the shit when it's actually supposedly the boy and all that, or no, you think that the boy's doing it, but it's actually the doll. Like the scene where the fucking television goes off, and they ripped that right out of the original fucking Child's Play, and especially the ending, which I'll get to later, where they literally do the same shit.
The great value storyline of Chucky is what it is. Hell, the reboot of Chucky, way fucking better than this. Hell, Seed of Chucky was better than this. So getting into the fucking ending. What else can I bitch about? Everything sucked completely through. Now getting to the ending. People got what they wished. I mean, people hated the third act in the first movie. Here you got regurgitated shit. The doll is a fucking monster. He is a possessed doll. And they suddenly ignore the fact that they mentioned the first movie in the first half, and in the second movie, they do something that really doesn't make any sense because they start talking about Victorian ages and shit. And then the family, who in the first movie there was a family and he wasn't treated right, I guess. I forgot the whole backstory, but
Yeah.
it was secluded. But then in the final climax, when the guy with the gun, the one dude from The Witch, starts talking about it, apparently it's something that's been dated back to the Victorian ages. And this is where I'm really, I mean, I was already fucking hated this movie at the start, but I have an issue with this because they were just recognized in the first movie, but now this is something that's been going on. So it's
Yeah.
been all the whole entire time. And that the dude in the wall that you do mention, and he did die, was he just a minion and not really Brahms? He was not Brahms. It was the doll is the Brahms.
Yeah,
So
which
that,
doesn't make sense because the whole guy in the first movie was Brahms, and the doll was basically a supplement named after him.
yeah, exactly. The doll was named after him. Now all of a sudden, this doll is dated back all the way to the fucking Victorian ages. It makes no sense. It
Yeah,
makes
that
absolute fucking sense. Especially, how the hell do you manage to talk about the first events in the first half by another dude, and then somebody else has a totally different story from you in the second half? How did you manage to fuck that up in one movie?
they just were like, yeah, we still acknowledge, but we did that for fan service. So sorry, we're gonna fuck that movie over, and then we're gonna fuck our own movie over by basically having an anticlimactic where you have the fucking doll comes to life all of a sudden, typical uh, doll fashion in every supernatural horror film. And guess what? He gets about one fucking part where he basically blows everyone away, and then he has the guy from the witch getting pushed against the wall, fucking dies easily, and then what is the main boy do? He throws him in the fucking fire. What did Chucky do in the original Child's Play? He got thrown in the fire, but guess what? He actually came back and he was still fucking fighting. If I was to
Yeah,
put this doll in a fire, this would be the easiest fucking death I could easily take out.
yeah. This kid really just grabs the fucking doll, throws it in the fire. Talk about 2 second climax. It's over. Hey guys, you ready? Let's wrap this shit. We were making a piece of shit, don't we? Let's just end it. So yeah, they did that shit. But why does it feel like there was two people making a movie? Because it feels like somebody was trying to go one direction and somebody was trying to go another direction. Feels like we had two writers or two directors on this.
Well,
Had somebody saying this way and somebody I like that way.
it's weird because it's the same director and the same writer, so it's almost like, well, we have to appease the first fans on the first movie, so how do we do this? And they're like, nah, let's do something different. Let's do it, change it up a little, and just do both and put them in one movie. I'm like, it seems inconsistent here.
Because I'm telling you, it felt like a tug of war when I was watching this because I could see the guy who probably liked more what they did with the first one was doing the first half a little bit. Then the second half was like, no, we're going our direction, our direction. And it's like, But other than that, yeah, they end with this cop out from fucking Friday the 13th Part 5, where the boy takes the mask with him and it shows him pretty much staring at the fucking window, missing the fucking Jason Voorhees mask and a fucking apron. It almost resembles part 5 at the end where Tommy has the knife and you think he's going to be Jason. This movie, I was like, oh my God. I'll tell you right now, this movie's so boring. You would think an hour and 26 minutes, 24 minutes was fucking short. Nah. I'll tell you right now, I felt like I watched fucking Pearl Harbor. That's how long this movie, I was like, how does it feel like Pearl Harbor? Godly, I do hate this movie, but Jesus Christ, it's only an hour and 26 minutes. Surely I can get to the fucking end.
Well, and that was my other problem too with the editing. The editing felt so fucking like choppy the way it was kind of came together because at the beginning, in the middle part, it seemed like they were trying to pick it up and trying to move along things at a faster rate, but then they couldn't keep it consistent.
And then another 2 complaints, you got the whole you have the rinse and repeat of did the boy flip over the table or the chair or through the plates or did this? That constantly makes up most of your plot. Then you have your atypical family members who come and visit you and somebody gets hurt because they have a bully as a son. I've seen that done. It is not good. It's rinse and repeat. It's regurgitated shit. People complained about the first one. We got this fucking piece of shit. So that's all I can say about it because I'm getting tired of fucking ranting about a movie that is pointless and should never been made. So I'm giving this film a flat line in the Film Phreeks meter.
I agree. It's definitely a flat line in the Film Phreeks meter as well. If there was an alternate universe where I could just watch the first movie again, where that only exists, that's all I'll stick with. I'll pretend like this movie doesn't even fucking need to exist. So, for those of you who've also seen Brahms, The Boy 2, and also the first The Boy movie, let us know in the comments below what you thought about it, and stay safe, and we'll see you in our next review. We'll see you later.
Later.